It's a doozy on the stock market. Well, there was higher highs recently. Everybody's excited about that. Here's a 4-hour time frame where RSI tests the center line. Stochastics caught a little bit of a break, but I would suggest that when you see this sort of picture, you just drop down to the 1 hour and you can see it's going to break through the center line as you get across back from above 80. That's terrible. Also, 50 simple, sure, it's providing some resistance to the top side on prices. And go back to the 4 hour test that 200 period moving average is a breakdown at 6,250. Even come in test that 236 at 6,200. That's totally possible if things collapse because you go up again to the daily time frame and you can see that things looking very, very dodgy. Part of the suspicion here is how long the RSI has been back above the center line. If you go into the 2-day time frame, you can see the point I made at the end of last week. It's something nobody else is talking about. The fact that things have been too strong for too long and there's not been a reversion to the mean. There's been no test of support because all of this is going up on fumes. So you're in the top of the RSI there at the bullish control zone. It's been spent about 50 days there and 100 since it's come back and tested the center line. That's absurd, really. That's quite absurd. So extremely overbought. Historically, this leads to huge retracements on the market. And so we continue in our optimistic outlook until things turn nasty, in which point run for the hills. Run for the hills. And talking about hills, Lipson has its own little hill. There's a deep crab harmonic on there. Could take price up to $2. $2 approaching 1618, probably get in here. 1.13 first off, touch of resistance at 150, 129, similar situation. You got also 81, 89 cents, tough levels to break in the immediate term, but that could be a positive situation with Harmonic taking price much higher. Might not go that way. Prices might break down. We've seen that there was a rejection of the 200 period moving average at $1. And putting it into context, prices rolled over at the time. You had the bearish divergence across these highs. There was a failure swing. All of that led up to failed golden cross becoming a death cross, and you would expect a test of long-term support. That breakdown has come with some harmonic resonance, which suggests another strong move to the top side, though, which is fantastic, right? But it's a game of wait and see. It's very, very risky, and that means that you need to mitigate with particularly strong risk management. That includes stop losses and position sizing. Respect the technical analysis. Best place to catch up with your peers on this stock is on the Rocky Outcrop Discord. www.discord.gg/Rocky Outcrop. So that's something that's worth looking at. I think also, pardon me, Bitcoin Wednesday, huge, huge, huge opportunities at the minute. Price action come back up, test this important level of resistance, 50 simple through the 204-hour daily time frame. You can see 200 period moving average is down there at 104. That would be a strong level of support. Break back above 112 at this stage, which it has done. Break back above. I'm going to get down, get down, get down, get a 4-hour time frame, put this back into context, yes. So 50 simple through the 200 period moving average, don't worry about that too much. Bullish divergence on the lows could easily come back up and test in around 116, and then you'd be looking to ask the question. And if Bitcoin is moving to there, then Ethereum probably pushing up, testing it around 420. The big impact then 200 period moving average and around that level. Big impact then on smaller coins. You had these huge opportunities. Now we scoped these out a long time ago and you're getting into them now. I'd suggest, like, despite the fact that we did the analysis a while ago, that is still very valid because it was done based on these circumstances occurring, which they have done. So you've got this previous low, you've got bullish divergence on that, you've also got harmonic resonance within this breakdown, and then the clear levels of resistance to the top side. Most extreme target on a long-term bull case scenario for alts would see this thing COTI go up and test around 14, possibly. If it breaks out, you're only looking at 21, return to previous peaks, and then go off and put in new all-time highs. So it's a really strong privacy layer. It's an innovative project that hits so many different bases at once that this thing's really, and also they're working with the EU on faster payments. So it's a very legit coin here, token. COTI, anyway, a lot of people know about it. So you've got this more reasonable, maybe, target in around 9 0 spot 0.9 and anything like that's 100% move. So if is it the case that alts are about to make a big, massive move? WorldCoin, also a privacy coin, has come up, filled a Rocky Outcrop flash. Get yourself that indicator at Rocky Outcrop's Patreon. You'll never guess the URL. Also, when you're trying to guess it, hit that like button. Yeah, so WorldCoin, I think it's a good pairing to have with other privacy coins just to check the market. Monero, people talk about it as a private coin. No thanks. Things total scam, and no thanks. Not going to further that scenario. Right, so you're looking at. Also, want to talk about SOUN. Now they've had a big retracement since that peak move, 19 previously or 24. Not a billion light years away from the things that live person does. This is a weekly flash bound at 2.27. A lot of the bullish enthusiasm that comes with this thing, it's effusive, right? It doesn't explode all over the place in once, which just constantly leaks out positive feelings. A lot of that was dissipated when they lost backing from a major player. So I don't think that this is necessarily the bee's knees the way it used to look. I think they've lost some of their sheen, and I think that that will return to positive situation for a live person. Down on the 1 minute time frame, just for a little bit of excitement because it's happening right now. There it is, price action at 6703, testing those prior highs within this formation. They do start to go higher. Question is the recovery back on again? A 15-minute time frame. Extra, extra. Interrupted flash in at around $1 again, right? And currently you're looking at getting then 33% move just off the back of that alone. So the question is, where do you enter to exploit that move? Well, maybe you're waiting for price to start putting higher highs. What with the range? That's very difficult, right? You'll need your magnifying glass. But it could well be that things are about to start. You'll be waiting for it to find support and then slowly start rising higher. Wherever that support comes in at, might be here, might be higher, might be lower, that'll be determined by your own analysis. If you want to learn how to do it properly, www.technicalanalysis.school is the place to learn. I'll teach you. Hit the like button. Would you look at that? It comes through with GameStop at the last. At the last. This was a harmonic opportunity. What's going on with that? It's a deep crab round all the way. So 23 spot 10 rocky outcrop flash. It's very difficult to deny a rocky outcrop flash. So we anticipate that happening. Weekly time frame, interesting. 50 simple through 200 period moving average, price action above them both. So that's positive. Daily time frame, not so much, right? 50 simple below, flash down there, drop down to the 4 hour time frame, and you've got the warning sign. It's not yet filled this gap to the top side, two of those, and then the fair value gap at 34.18. That's where you'd anticipate going. If not, it's going to come back down, test 20, and bounce along this line, which was significant support. If that doesn't hold, then a retest of in at around $10 and change. And I do think that's going to happen eventually, a test of those levels. That's not to say that there isn't a lot of positive things on the go for GameStop, obviously. It's just they are not currently manifesting in price. So 4 hour, I mean, that's where you have it, right? It needs to, 50 simple needs to push through that 200. Price action needs to continue to the top side, close these gap, and reach for $34 on GameStop. If that doesn't happen, see a little bit of sideways price action before a test of 10. Now, a lot of people get annoyed with me for saying that, as if somehow I've hurt them, but I don't want to see that. I'm talking about the analysis. Now, we've all got a bias. I think I'll leave it at that. Live person. A very risky stock. We've been through the highs and the lows, currently at those macro lows, and you might be asking yourself a number of questions, particularly with the reverse split. Is this going to have a negative impact on price? Well, everything that will happen on price is hinted at on the current price chart. We can see that there's an interest in Harmonic, that price action at that 50 cents presents a second opportunity to enter. If it gets there, that the target might be $2. And could we see that size of a range based off the volatility moves and the events happening this week? Well, there's a corporate restructuring due to the reverse split, that swap in debt for equity, a positive moves for shareholders, but the sentiment of the action often attracts negativity to the share price itself. The question about reverse splits and the typical reaction that investors have is a very fair one, because why do a reverse split in the first instance? This is a very pragmatic decision from the live person board, not at all cynical. It will help shareholders. The question is, does it attract negative attention to price at the moment of the split? Well, in this instance, live person, heavily shorted, and it's consistent in that regard. We'll go through this reverse split, which will go towards a ratio, the ratio of current shares to the outcome, reverse split, there's going to be less. Now, when that happens, share price will go up, the market cap will stay the same, and your ownership percentage will remain largely unchanged. But one factor will change, and that will be the days to cover, because the trading liquidity of the stock is unlikely to change and reflect exactly the ratio of that split. It may well be that the short position becomes slightly more sensitive. And what if this is a highly retail stock with a very small float? That dynamic is quite dangerous for the other side of the trade. Personally, I'll be managing my risk over that event. I'll be advising you to do the same. And I don't give buying or selling advice on any stock. It's just that I think there's a real opportunity here. It's been there for a while, and it's persisted so much that you've now likely ticked over that 12-month holding, where your shareholding now gets real influence with the board. But that influence will be taken away from you, as it is with so many retail traders, if you don't have control over your shares. You can get that at absolutely no cost at all by writing to your broker and demanding that you get the right to vote your shares at the upcoming AGM. And I would urge you to do that if you would like a template letter to write to your broker so that you're able to make the most of your shareholding. Then just log on to the Discord, and on the free side, there's a template letter that you'll be able to copy and paste, add some of your own details, and get that for yourself. Now, I think that not only should you get the right to vote your shares and use them at the AGM, but I think you should use them to do two things. I think we should suggest a proposal to the live person board that they, in the spirit of accountability and this new age of retail trading, that they nominate to their board a shareholder to take a seat that represents the best interests of retail shareholding. I think that you know who that would be. If you want to suggest my name, then I'd gladly accept that position. I think that that would be something we could propose through 14A8, that rule, which you'll be able to make the most of with your shareholding should it be over a year. I also think that failing that, we could look at 14A19, another opportunity for you and I to get a board seat that best represents your influence, so that that earned respect and that earned influence can be properly actioned. As I say, if you want to know more about it, www.discord.gg/rockyoutcrop. This is unprecedented for retail to make this move. It will attract a lot of attention in the media to this ticker, and it will bring in activist funds who are interested to see the moves that we're making. We could achieve something that nobody's ever done before. You could be a big part of that. The first step is the administration and to be ahead of those deadlines. And the first thing to do then is to get proper control of your shares. You can do it with a simple letter. You don't need to directly register those shares. And if you start the process now, you'll be well on time for those important deadlines. Thanks very much for considering Tradespotting. Vote early, vote often, vote Tradespotting.